was angry for 3 years after. That's the accurate
number. 3 years of the particular flavor of rage that had no satisfying target. The undirected, terrifying kind of anger, everything at once, everything a reason. Every front of the building I was in had something wrong. Every person said something that confirmed the thing I couldn't name. I was like to be angry about the same. Evidence read differently, I was furious. Weak as I was in grief and the glorious displacement of grief into anger. It's the anger has an object, a manger for the feeling. It sits somewhere instead of nowhere. You can wear anger like the goat that fits. Grief doesn't fit anything it sits on the floor of you, won't be dressed and won't be moved. And the best option when you don't know how to hold it is to shift it, fold it into something with a shape. And rage has a shape, and I was on the stage of a year I didn't know how to name, and the anger was the frame. I put around a picture I hadn't taken yet of what had actually happened to me, and I punished several people for the fetish, claiming I was still developing when I was angry with them.
grief in a different coat. Grief in a different coat.
Everything I said in those 3 years,
Grief in a different coat.
that sounded like anger, heard it close.
Grief in a different coat. Grief in a different coat. Grief in a different coat. That's what it was. Grief in a different coat. Because the anger had a shape and grief was shapeless. Grief in a different coat. The stainless
Record of 3 years that I was difficult.
grief in a different coat.
The ritual of anger was the only available ceremony for the law.
Grief in a different coat.
The testimony of every person I was short with.
Grief in a different coat.
The forfeit was understanding, I paid it. Here's what I was grieving, multiple things simultaneously. The way grief brings everything at once, not one loss, but the layered accounting of the cost of several years converging. The person I thought I'd be, the version or the future that was no longer available. The relationship, the stable version of my family, the health of someone I love, the shelf of things I'd expected to inherit from the next chapter. Married had nothing to do with it. The universe had not consulted me. The reverse of the plan I'd been executing, everything I'd been building toward the ring of the specific future I'd imagined was no longer on the finger, and I hadn't begun to process it, so I processed it as anger. That was the closest available container for the volume of what I was holding. And the column of people I would show up with in those years deserved the grief, not the gears of the rage I gave them. And the lesson is when the anger is excessive for the thing that triggered it, you're not angry or in Greek. Sit with that, find the loss underneath the rage, find what it was, the wreath you're still carrying, and name it before you aim it.
I owed people apologies that I delivered as arguments. I handed grief to everyone around me, wrapped in anger. Because I didn't know what I was holding until I held it long enough to feel its actual weight. And grief is heavier than anger. Grief has no handle. You just carry it with both arms until it gets lighter, and then lighter, and then it's yours. Grief in a different coat, you see it now. Grief in a different coat. Grief in a different coat.
And how I wore it cost the people around me